All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Robert at Scott Leroy Marketing. Today we're going to be working on our Placester 101 class. That's our basic Placester setup class, getting your information into your Placester site, getting it launched and ready for clients to start using. If you're looking for some of the more customization options, some of the more advanced things that you can do with your Placester site, I'd recommend checking out our Placester 201 class. That's at slmtraining.com. And in fact, this class and all of our Placester 101 and 201 classes are recorded at slmtraining.com. I just sent a link over in the chat window there. If you can't hear me, obviously you can't hear this message, but if you're having trouble listening, you can call in using your phone instead of your computer speakers. Just dial that 805 number, enter the code with the pound sign, and then you should be able to hear me. And then lastly, before we get started, I need you guys to use any browser, doesn't matter which browser it is, but any browser besides Microsoft Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer was retired 3-ish years ago, and the Placester system does not work with that old retired browser. So if you're using Internet Explorer, you're going to need to upgrade to a more modern browser. So if you're using Windows 10, definitely recommend Microsoft Edge. That's the new browser from Microsoft that replaced Internet Explorer. That one works just fine. If you're using any Windows system before Windows 10, you're going to need to use either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or one of the other browsers that are out there. It's just Internet Explorer won't work with the Placester interface. If you're on a Mac, Safari works just fine. It's no big deal. It's just Internet Explorer that doesn't work. Now, our first step, let me go ahead and minimize our slideshow here. Our first step to accessing our KW websites powered by Placester is actually to get logged into mykw.kw.com. Your KW website is not accessed by logging directly into your website, nor is it accessed by logging into Placester. It's actually accessed through mykw. That'll take you into the Placester backend. You actually don't even have login information for Placester. It logs you in automatically through mykw. So if you're not already, go ahead and get logged into your mykw.kw.com homepage. While you guys are doing that, I've got one more message to send to you guys here about the website address that I'm going to be showing you how to find. It's about the it's actually towards the end of the class, one of the last things I'm going to show you about how to find your website address. I know that's one of the most important things you care about in the class, but be patient, I'll show you. But about that website address, about a month and a half ago, Placester, that's the company that provides this website, they made an update to their system where if you add www. before the site address that I'm going to show you how to find, it's going to cause a privacy error and it won't load your page. It'll actually look like it's a hacking page, and anybody who visits your website using that www. is going to get a notification that this website is unsafe. You need to leave right away. Don't do anything with this website. So if you're putting your website on marketing materials or on your business cards or on your email signature or whatever, do not, I repeat, do not ever put the www. before your website address. I'm going to show you the proper format for your website address. www is not part of it. Forget that exists, okay? Now that you're logged into your mykw.kw.com homepage, up in our top black menu, we're going to hover over Technology and then click on KW Websites. It should be the third one down here. And then on this page, we're going to look for the red button that says Go to my website. Now, this is going to be a big roadblock for some people because if you don't have this button, unfortunately, there's not anything we can do about it during the time of this class. There are 2 requirements for you to have this button in order to go to the Placester backend and work on your website. The first requirement is that your @kw.com email address has to exist. It has to have been created at some point. You never have to use it. You never have to log into it. You don't have to communicate with it, but it has to exist. And if we did your initial setup for you, you don't have to worry about that because we created that email address for you. The other requirement is that your MLS ID needs to be added to the KW white pages. Unfortunately, that's not something that we can do as part of your regular setup process. That's something that only the MCA in your office has the power to do. The MCA in another office doesn't have the power to do it for agents in a different office. It has to be in your office. So you would need to reach out to your MCA, that's your Market Center Administrator, that's the person who's responsible for for getting commission checks to agents, they need to add your MLS ID to the KW white pages. Once they do that, roughly 24 to 48 hours after that, the automatic system is going to send you a notification to that KW email. There's not a way to change where that notification goes, and you'll get a pop-up notification when you log into mykw.kw.com that your Placester site is ready to be set up. Once you've got either one of those notifications, then you can follow this class. Just go back to slmtraining.com, watch through our Placester 101, and you can set up the class. It's basically the same class every couple of weeks. We just do it every couple of weeks because people do have questions for the live classes. That's why we do it. So if you don't have this button, you're welcome to continue following along with the class, taking notes and things like that, just getting familiar, and then you can go ahead and follow through and do the things that we're doing once your site becomes available, or you can just wait until the next class or just watch the recording once your site becomes available. Now, one thing about the Placester site, actually, we can set up this site for you. This is a complimentary service that we offer through your Market Center subscription. So if your Market Center is one of the offices that we work with, we can set this site up for you. And in fact, if it's available during your initial setup, that's when we would prefer to set it up for you. But if it becomes available later, or if you're an agent that was there before your Market Center signed up with us, you can definitely just use that link that I sent you in the chat window there to request for us to set this Placester site up for you. Now, if you're watching this in a recording in the future, just shoot us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com and we can get you that link also. So if you do have the big red button that says go to my website, definitely click on that. That's going to open a new tab with the Placester interface. Leave the MyKW tab open. The one that's to the left of it should be up here. Go ahead and leave that one open because we're going to refer back to this for a couple of things. Once you're in the Placester interface here, you guys are going to see it more like this. I'm zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see better what I'm doing. Once you're in the Placester interface, you may see some tiles across the top here about completeness or whatever, next steps. You can ignore those, just forget they exist. We're going to be taking care of most of those through this process, and any of the ones that we don't take care of are pretty much optional. You can decide to do them or not. Our first step once we're in here is actually over here under Quick Actions. We're going to click on Launch Site. We're going to click the second link down here. We're not going to do Preview. We're going to do Launch. Now, if you don't have this Launch Site link, that means that your site is already launched, and it's going to show a button that says View Live Site instead. So if you have that, don't click on that just yet. I'm going to show you where to go next. If you have the link that says Launch Site, go ahead and click on that, and it's a one-click process to launch your site. There are no settings, nothing to choose, nothing to type in. You click the button, your site is launched. Easy peasy. Once you click that Launch Site button, where we end up here is the list of your sites that are inside your Placester account. So if your site was previously launched, it's not going to take you to this page. So you're going to need to go up in the top right to this grid of 9 squares and then click on Sites. It's the second one down. Dashboard is where we were before when we clicked on Launch Site. So we're on Sites right now. Now, you'll notice here in Scott's account, there are 2 sites listed here. For the vast majority of agents, there should be just one. And there are a couple of exceptions for why there might not be just one site in your list here. The first one is fairly simple here. If you're a member of the commercial division, KW Commercial, you're paying your yearly dues and everything, you get an additional site for commercial listings specifically. You can market this to your commercial clients. You can connect it to the build out MLS for commercial listings and everything, and that'll be your commercial site. You also get an additional site if you're a member of Farm and Ranch. There's a separate site for that division as well. There used to be a separate site, and if you've been around for a while, you've been a member of Luxury for a little while, you may still have that additional site, but a little while back, Placester and KW changed it to where if you're a member of Luxury, you actually just get a new theme for your residential site because Luxury listings are residential listings rather than getting an additional site for Luxury versus the regular residential one, which makes sense. Your luxury listings are residential listings, so you would just change your residential site to a luxury site. Really easy. Now, if you're not a member of commercial, luxury, or Farm and Ranch, and you have additional sites here, one of the things we see every once in a while, it's about 1 in 100, is every once in a while the Placester system randomly just decides that, hey, you get 2 free sites for no reason whatsoever. We have no idea why it does that. So you could use both or either of those sites if you wanted to. Now, the other reason you might have some additional sites here is you were playing around and somehow you clicked this plus sign and you went through that process and you created an additional site. Now that site that you created that way, you're not going to be able to launch. It's going to ask you for $10 a month to have that second site. You only get one free site through what KW provides for you through Placester. So if you do have additional sites here, you're going to want to ignore those. And if you do have additional sites, we can actually remove those from this list here for you. Just shoot us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com just so we can avoid that confusion. Whichever site is launched is going to show disable over on the right, and that's the site that we're going to want to look at right here. So we're going to click on edit site over on the right side. And this is going to take me into the site settings page. This is where we're going to do all of our work in this Placester 101 class. Pages, blog posts, testimonials, and areas are covered in 201. So if that's what you're looking for, definitely jump over to slmtraining.com and check out our Placester 201 class, or you can wait until next Wednesday. We're going to be doing that 201 at the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Today we're working in site settings, and that's what this page is right here. We're just going to start at the top and work our way down. The first thing we're going to look at is this listing section here. The first link is IDX integration. IDX stands for Internet Data Exchange. I know exchange is EX, but they capitalize the X for whatever reason. And that's the system that gets listing data from the MLS to your website. It's an automatic system. You don't have to enter your listings into your website. They automatically come over from the MLS. And in fact, it's all listings in the MLS, not just your listings. So in this section here, it may or may not list your actual local MLS board. By default, it's going to list the KWLS, which is the Keller Williams listing service, which is only KW listings, and it may also list your actual local board or your local association of realtors, like this Cooperative Arkansas Realtors, blah, blah, blah. If you do see your local board, you're going to want to go over to the right and click on the switch that says off to turn it on. You want it to be blue and on. And then once you do that, you want to turn off the KWLS. They actually just introduced this feature, right before the 4th of July holiday, which is why we haven't covered it in class before. You can have multiple IDX connections to your site. For the first 3-ish years that the Placester sites were around, you could only have one IDX connection to your site. So if you were a member of multiple boards, you were kind of out of luck. You would have to choose between whichever boards you were a member of to display only listings from that board on your site. Now you can actually have more than one IDX connected to your site, so you can show listings from both or all 3 or all 4 boards that you're a member of. So especially useful for areas that cross state lines, or maybe if your board is different across counties, or like where I'm from in Pensacola, there are 3 boards that cover roughly the same areas. There's actually a lot of overlap. They don't cover exactly the same areas, but you could be a member of one of 3 boards that cover roughly the same area. And if you were a member of if you were a member of 2 of them and you only had one IDX on your site, you just have to choose. Now that's not an issue. So if your MLS board is an option here, definitely turn it on and turn off the KWLS. If your board is not an option here, what you're going to need to do is reach out to your Market Center leadership and ask them to help you set up IDX, Internet Data Exchange, for your KW website powered by Placester. They should have information for that process on hand there. There are a handful of offices that we set up IDX for, but you're going to want to double check with your Market Center first to see whether they do it, and if they do it, they can help you with it, and if they don't, they can point you to us and we can help you with that process. Once you've got your MLS board selected, you've got it turned on, we want to make sure to click this green Save button down at the bottom. Everything that we do in Placester, you're going to have to click this green Save button, or whatever changes you made. If you exit it, they're not going to be applied. You'd have to redo them. So we're going to click Save right here. So that was IDX integration, and that just closes that slide out over to the right. Next, we're going to drop down here to global filters. This is where you're deciding, actually before we open that up, I like to go over the difference between global filters and featured listings because these look really similar once you're inside them. Global filters is where you're deciding what listings are able to be found through the search on your site. So you're choosing, this geographic area or this price range or things like that. With global filters, you don't want to get very specific. And in fact, in most cases, the vast majority of cases, you want to leave global filters totally alone because you could mess your site up. You could make it to where if someone was searching for, a 1-bed, 1-bath starter home on an investment property or something like that, and you had your global filter set to not show any listings below 250K, unfortunately, no listings below 250K 250K would be able to be found on your site even if someone typed 100K or something like that. So in most cases, leave global filters totally alone. Instead, what you would want to do is work with featured listings. This is where you're choosing which listings show on your home page. There's a section on your home page for featured listings, and depending on the theme that you choose, it can show anywhere from 4 to 16 listings on the home page. This is where you want to get more specific, actually pretty specific. In a lot of cases, agents like to show just their listings on the home page. That's really easy to do. You just use your MLS ID. I'll show you how. You can show just your office's listings. You can show only listings over 500,000. You can show only listings in a certain subdivision. You can show only listings that are over X number of years old if you want to work with historic buildings, things like that. So we're going to look at both of those, and we're basically going to leave global filters alone, but we are going to look at featured listings, getting really specific with that. So let's open up global filters just to see what that looks like. By default, what's going to be selected is all listings. And again, this is what we recommend most of the time. You want to show all listings from your MLS board on your site. You want everything to be able to be found. And you would just leave this as it is. You can just exit this without saving because it's already the default that's applied. Or you could jump over to this filtered listings tab, and you could choose search criteria out of this drop down right here. There's a lot of criteria, especially depending on your MLS. And you can say, okay, I only want to show listings on my site that are from such and such high school area. Or I only want to show listings on my site that are from such and such zip code. Or just my office's listings. Or let's see, max year built. I don't know if that's going to be oldest or newest. I think it's max. I think it's going to be, I only want to show listings that are newer than such and such number of years. Or is it min-year built? I think it's going to be minimum, apparently. So I only want to show listings that were built after 1985 or after whatever year it is where you have to do the lead-based paint or whatever. So you could do that. You could say, I only want to show listings on my site that have a such and such HOA fee. I only want to show listings on my site that have a swimming pool. Like I said, in most cases, you want to leave global filters alone. So I'm not going to show you very much how to work with this. If you do want more specific instruction, definitely shoot us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com. But in most cases, you just want to leave it as all listings. You only want to work with global filters if you do know for sure what you're doing. We're going to click out of that and instead drop down here to featured listings. This is where you do want to get really specific. The one that I mentioned that most agents like to do is they want to show their listings on the home page rather than any other agents or other offices or just their office's listings. By default on the home page, what's going to happen is it's going to show the highest price listings that are in whatever MLS that you selected in IDX integration. So if your MLS wasn't available to select and only the KWLS was selected, it's going to show the highest price KW listings from across the country. So that may be in California, that may be in New York, that may be in Texas. And if you're in Indiana, like I am, those aren't going to apply on your site. So you're going to want to change that featured listings to be maybe from your local area or change the sort or something like that. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to change it to show just your listings on the home page if you have your MLS connected. It's not going to work for the KWLS. It has to be your MLS. So what you would do is underneath these boxes here that are pre-populated, you're going to come down here to add search criteria. And in this drop down that says select criteria, you'd scroll down just a little bit and you're going to choose agent ID. So we'll click on that. And then over on the right, we'll click add. So now we have a new box here and you would type in your agent MLS ID. Once you've got that typed in there, you would click search down here to preview what listings are going to show up on the home page. So if no listings show up down in this box here, it says search results 0. That means your MLS ID was incorrect and you'd want to double check that with the MLS. If it shows a number down here, or if it says 0 here, that means you don't have any listings currently. If it does show a number down here, that's going to be the number of listings that you have that the MLS has record of, and it's going to list them right here. After that, you can change the sort of them. Like I said, by default, it's going to be highest price first, but you can do newest. You can show the freshest listings that are either yours or in the MLS or whatever. Number of bedrooms, year built, bathrooms, number of images, that kind of thing. So we're going to do a little bit of pretending here, and you guys can follow along using whatever settings you want to do. I'm going to pretend that on my home page, I'm a new agent. And I know that we're in a seller's market. We're working, there's a lot of new homes being built. There's a lot of home builders. There's a lot of new subdivisions. And I want to show brand new homes on my homepage. It doesn't matter who built them. I just want homes that have never been listed before. They're brand new. Nobody's ever lived in them on my homepage. So under my ad search criteria here, I'm going to click this drop down here, and I'm going to scroll down to property details, and here's our min year built. I'm going to select that and click add, and I'm going to put in 2018 right here. So I'm going to search that, and there are only 763 homes that were built in 2018 in this Cooperative Arkansas MLS here. So if that's not enough listings to cycle through on your homepage, which it sounds like it's plenty for me, but if it's not, you can go back maybe a year, search that, and look, there's 904 now. So I'm going to go to 2018 here. And then under that default sort, it's going to have highest price by default. If that's something you want to work with, go ahead. It looks like this 5 East Parkway in Russellville is going to be the highest price listing that was built in 2018, so that would show on the homepage first. Or you can sort them by, let's see, days on site newest. That means it's going to be the freshest ones, probably ones that aren't even built yet, probably just have a floor plan as an image. Or you can do maybe total images most, where this is actually probably one that's going to have already been built because they already actually have pictures of it and you want to show that on your homepage. That might be a good option here for these brand new listings, so I'm going to do that there. And it looks like this 3506 Odin unit, I don't know what that is, would be the first one that shows on the homepage. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click save. And I'm going to go up here to the top of the page and click on view live site. It's going to open up Scott's site here in a new tab. And this is what Scott's site looks like currently. It's really plain. There's nothing in it just yet. We're going to work on that. We're going to scroll down just a little bit here, and here's my featured properties section. So this right here, this 2002 North 2nd Street. Okay, apparently that doesn't sort that properly in featured listings. So this is the actual listing that has the most pictures. Let's find out how many pictures it has, if it'll show us. Looks like it doesn't show how many pictures here, but I'm guessing it's probably 30 or more because a lot of listings have a lot of pictures, something like that. So that's how the featured listings works. We do have a separate class for that. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I forgot to send you guys a couple of things when we were working on IDX. If you're a little unclear on about how IDX works or what you need to do or who to contact or whatever, we do have a, oh, actually I need to update that link here. That video there talks about the 3 IDX feeds each KW agent is supposed to have. We also have this page on our site. Oops, one more slash. There we go. Just sent you guys a link to the page on our site that explains IDX, who to contact, what you need it for, all that fun stuff. And then also, if you're in the IDX integration section and your MLS is showing there, it's showing the name of it, but over to the right it says pending. Instead of giving you that switch to turn it on, you would actually want to contact your, you'd want to contact Placester directly to see what might be holding that up, what's keeping it as pending. There may be something additional that you or your broker or somebody needs to do. So you want to contact Placester directly at dataops@placester.com. So D as in dog, A, T as in Tom, A, O, P as in Paul, S as in Sam, at Placester.com. Let's see here. Okay, so that was it for IDX and featured listings. If you do want to learn more about featured listings, getting more control over the listings that show on your homepage, we do have a class specifically for that. Just shoot us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We can get that to you. Under that, we have this link that's grayed out for open house info. This is going to pop up and say this feature is only available for single property sites. And that is basically the truth. Your site is not a single property site. Your site isn't showing information for just one listing. You're showing all listings. So this isn't going to apply to you, but this, if you did have a single property site, you contacted Placester, created a site, and you should just showing information for that one listing, there's a feature where it'll pop up on the homepage for, hey, we're having an open house at such and such day and time, and this is where you would enter that information. But we're going to skip that now because it doesn't apply to your site. Okay, scrolling down here to the site design section, we're just going to start with theme selection. This is choosing the look and feel of your site. So if I go back to Scott's site here, this header section and the arrangement and the colors and the way the buttons look and the text and everything, those are all dictated by the theme. Now that's the only control you have over how your site is arranged and how it looks. You do have some color control. You can choose some things like that, but you can't choose fonts, you can't change sizes, you can't drag and drop, you can't rearrange, you can't change the shape of your picture, anything like that. It's just you choose your theme and that's what you get. It's what you see is what you get is how that works. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the themes. We'll go here into theme selection. And once we're here in theme selection, the one that's selected by default is Madison. That one's specific to KW. Only KW agents get the Madison theme. There's also the Madison Metro, if we go one to the right, that's a little bit cleaner, more white space and things like that. That's also specific to KW agents. So you can use either one of those or any of the other 6. Placester provides these to anybody that has a Placester account, and you can choose any of these if you like the arrangement, the layout, the colors, the way they look and feel. I'm going to leave it as the Madison, but as we are looking through these themes, I want to point out something very, very important. You're not choosing your theme based on this picture in the background, either behind or above the search bar. You control what that picture is. So you're choosing the theme based on the layout and the look and feel, not based on this picture back here. So like this one, this kitchen here, if you don't like that kitchen, that's fine. You can change that. Say if you like the layout, but you don't like the kitchen, choose this theme and you can change out that picture. I'm going to show you how in just a minute. So you're not choosing the theme based on, you know, tree-lined streets with yellow leaves. Doesn't matter. You change that picture if you want to. I'm going to go back here to the Madison. Here in the Madison, you can choose the color of this header section and some of the buttons and things like that. By default, it is going to be the KW red, the B40101 hex code, which I know because I use it a lot. You can also choose any of these other colors here. Say you really like orange, it'll show you a preview of what that looks like up here. I usually like this gray here. That's usually what I choose in my classes here, so I'm going to choose that for you guys here. And then under that, specifically for the Madison theme, no other themes have this option. It's just the Madison. You can choose whether you want a solid color header section of whatever color you chose here, or if you want the white header section with accents of this color that you chose here. If you change this option here, it's not going to update the preview here. You'll actually have to save it and go look at your site, see if you like that. I am going to change it to this white background here with the color accents that I'm going to show you. And then this box right here, you're choosing what the text says over the search bar right here. So this is the best place to find your home. That's what's there going to be there by default. You're going to want to scroll down here. Excuse me, having a little issues with my stomach. What was I saying? So you can change that text here. If you leave this blank, it is going to remain the best place to find your home. You actually can't have no message right here. So typically when we set this up for agents, we'll put something in like your home search starts here. You can do your local real estate resource. You can leave it as the best place to find your home, anything like that. Your limit is 60 characters here. So if you were to keep typing here, eventually it would... Okay, it's not going to stop there, but eventually it would not show any further characters on the home page. So we're going to click Save here. Going to go back to Scott's site and refresh it. So now I've got that new white header section up here with accents of that gray that I chose. To me, it's kind of gray-blue, but I guess that's going to be different for everybody. Where was I? So that was our theme selection. If you guys decide to use one of the different themes, you're welcome to. It's just know that this one is specific to KW, and so is the Madison Metro. A couple other things about themes. I'm going to go over to the Fremont here. You'll notice under here, it's got options for color where you have 2 options. So if I were to click this blue and orange here, this is my blue, this is my orange. Or if I do this green and gray here, this is my green, this is my gray. So you'll have to play around with the themes, see what you like, see what color options you like and things like that. I'm just going to go back out of here. Excuse me. When I clicked outside, okay, hold on. Where was I? When I clicked outside of this box here, it popped up that window asking if I wanted to save my changes. I told it no, I'm just going to continue because I don't want to save the changes that I made. But if you did want to save those changes, definitely make sure to click that green save button and then scroll down and click this one, and that would apply your changes. Under that, we've got our slideshow option here. So remember, you're not choosing your theme based on the images. Oh, I was supposed to change this out. Hold on a second. One thing I missed. Okay, so by default on your site, what's going to be selected is probably interiors. It's going to show these nice stock pictures of anybody's house it could be. So you can control what pictures show on the home page no matter what theme you chose. So Placester provides a couple of slideshows here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So they provide 5 slideshows for you. You can switch between them anytime you want, and you can use these without any worries. Just select it and save it. Or you can build your own slideshow. So the slideshows can only have a maximum of 5 images in them. There can only be 5 images that slide through on your home page. No more than 6, no more than 5, no fewer than one. You can have just one image in your slideshow and it would just be static on the home page. That's fine. And anywhere between 1 and 5. It's just you can't have any more than 5. And you can only have one slideshow selected at a time. So it wouldn't go through like interiors and then variety and then luxury properties, things like that. You can only have one slideshow selected at a time. So if you want to use one of the slideshows that they have available, and it's showing me some error stuff right here, but there are images in here. I'm going to scroll down to mid-priced homes here, and I'll select this right here. So this is showing me, and I'm not sure why it's not showing me the preview of the image here. It may be showing you, I'm not sure, but this is what the slideshow editing page looks like. You can leave the images just the way that you want, or you can upload a new image to replace whatever image is in this section, or you can delete this image and just have one fewer image in your slideshow. You can also apply a caption to each and every image that's in your slideshow. That'll show up down here in the bottom left of the image. It's always going to be white. It's always going to be this size. It's always going to be this position. And you'll notice back on this luxury living one right here, it was a little hard to read. It's over a light background. So keep in mind if you're adding new images, your own images to your slideshow, it might be a good idea to try to keep something darkish toward the bottom left corner, because it is always going to be this color and this placement. Similar thing for this text right here. You're only changing what it says. You can't change the color, size, shape, font, anything else about it. You're just choosing the actual message that's there. Where was I? You can also, on each image, apply a link. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a little bit, but what you would do here is if someone were to click on this image, it would take them to whatever page that you had put in this link right here. That can be a page within your site. It can be a page on your Market Center site. It can be your Facebook page. It can be a link to an event page that you've set up, maybe an open house or some other thing that you're hosting. It can be a link to a tourism board in your area. It could be a link to a college in your area. Anywhere that you want to link to, you can apply a link to any of the slideshow images on your home page there. I'm going to exit this here. Yes, I want to continue. And I'm going to go create a custom slideshow. So in order to do that, I'm going to click my plus sign here at the top of the page. Anytime you see this plus sign, that means create a new one of whatever it is you're working with on the site. This is going to be slideshows. Before I do that, though, I want to point out this link here that says, please visit this help article for image resizing tips and to learn ideal slideshow dimensions for each Placester theme. You want to make sure your images are the right size to use for your slideshow. And I'll show you what happens if they're not the right size. It's actually kind of funny. But if you click on this link here, I'm going to open it in a new tab. This is a help article from Placester where they've put together instructions for how to edit your images to fit the site properly. So if you scroll down right here, it's showing you for each of the themes what the image sizes need to be. 1600 pixels wide by 660 pixels tall, whatever, depending on the theme that you've chosen. I will point out that the Madison and the Madison Metro aren't on here because, again, those are KW specific. Nobody else gets those, but they do match the Fremont. So 1600 wide by 500 tall is going to be the same for Madison and Madison Metro as it is for Fremont. So you can just use those dimensions there. And you can scroll down the page to learn more about how to crop your images to the right dimensions. And then you can save those and use them for your slideshow. So again, that's on the page with the slideshows. You just click this link. It'll take you to that article from Placester there. We're going to click our plus sign to create a new slideshow. And we're going to have to give a name to the slideshow. So I'm going to call this class 2018. Oops. 0711. Once you've got a name, you can upload as many as 5 images or as few as 1. I'm going to upload all 5 images just to show you what that looks like. I moved things. Hold on. There we go. Main slideshow. It's going to upload that image, upload that one, upload that one, and I'm not expecting you guys to follow along at the same speed I am. If you don't have any images, that's fine. We actually, while I'm thinking about it, we have a class for how to find images, free images to use on your site, and I've actually got that in a different place for a different class. Let me go find that. There it is. There we go. So we've got a class where you can find free images to use on your website. You don't want to just pick any image that you find on Google because it probably belongs to somebody and they have copyrights to that, so they may come after you for fees for using it. So these images are all free ones that I found. So I'm going to save this. Oh, actually, I'm going to apply a couple of captions. And then I'm also going to apply a link. Oops. So when you apply a link to any of these images, it does have to include the http:// That's how that works. So you would just copy and paste whatever you've got in the address bar into this box here. So I'll save that. And when I go back to Scott's site and refresh it, there we go. We've got this new slideshow across the home page. So our first image here is this nice hot air balloon over looks like a harvested cornfield, something like that. So that's really nice. And that is the correct dimensions. It is much, much wider than it is tall. So it's not cutting anything or not cutting much off the top and bottom of the image. And that's actually what happens if your image is taller than it needs to be. It actually is going to crop the middle 500 pixels for you. So it's going to take anything above 500 pixels and anything below 500 pixels, and you're not going to be able to see it on your homepage, like this image right here. This image, I'll show you what it looks like. I rearranged some things, so I'm having a little bit of an issue finding where they went. Whenever it decides to load. I don't like the new Photos app in Windows. Wish there was a better one. Anytime now. There we go. So this is, yeah, I don't want to go there. This is what the full image looks like. We've got our dock, we've got our boots, we've got our water, we've got our ships out in the water. On the website, all you can see is part of the boots because it cut off the top and it cut off the bottom because the image was too tall. Very similar issue with this one right here. This is a lighthouse, and you wouldn't be able to tell that unless you had the full image, which is this. It actually cropped it roughly right here and about right here. It cut out the middle 500 pixels. So anything above that and below that, it's not going to show on the home page. So if your if your image is portrait orientation, taller than it is wide, it's not going to show properly on the home page. You want it to be much, much wider than it is tall, just like this one. This one is a little bit tall, so it did cut out the middle of that. I'll show you what it looks like here. It did cut out the middle, but you can still tell what's happening because it is wider than it is tall. So you want to be careful about the images that you're using on your slideshow because they can look funny if they're not the right dimensions. Under that, we're come down to certifications here. This is probably the easiest thing to do on the site. Certifications show at the bottom of your site down here. They'll show in this section right above the bottom dark section here. And you're just selecting whichever certifications that you've earned, any that apply to you. Most agents will be able to select Realtor, National Association of Realtors, down at the bottom because, or near the bottom, because if you're a member of a board of realtors, that makes you a member of the National Association of Realtors. So you're actually required to show that on your site. And then also in the United States, you're required legally to show the Equal Housing Opportunity logo on your site as well. So that takes up 2 of the 6 spots for certifications on your site. So if you have additional certifications, you can only select up to 4 more. If you have more than that, yeah, you're going to have to prioritize, see which ones are most important to show on your site. So if you're, ABR or CIPS or CRS or GRE or any of those other acronyms there, you can show those on your site. Once you've got those selected, evidenced by the blue border around them, make sure to click Save down at the bottom. And when I refresh the site, this is what it looks like down at the bottom. I got my Equal Housing, got my National Association of Realtors, and anything additional would show along this line right here. Social networks right here. This is where you're going to show the links to, or excuse me, where you're going to put in the links to your social media profiles so that people can find them on your website. On the Madison theme, these show up here in the very top left. On different themes, they go in different places on the site. On the Fremont theme, they show in the ribbon that comes down on the left here under the search bar. Excuse me. in different themes, they put them different places. So we've already got our social media links in place here just so I could show you what that looks like, and so I can show you what the formatting looks like for the links that go into these boxes. You'll notice there is no http:// blah 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 blah.com/ blah blah blah. You only want the part after this first slash. What it's telling you in this left side column here is that it's automatically going to put in facebook.com/ or twitter.com/ or linkedin.com/. You only want to put in this box what is after this slash right here. So you would go to your social media profiles, go to your public page, what other people can view, not your dashboard or whatever on your home page, and you would find whatever is after the first slash and put it into this box here. A couple of things to point out, especially about LinkedIn and YouTube. There are additional slashes after that first slash, and you want to include those. So it's after the first slash that you're going to put into this box, not after the last slash. You want after the first slash. Same for YouTube. This may be C, it may be channel, it may be user, it may be something else, I don't know. But you want it after the first slash, which is after youtube.com, and everything else after that goes in this box. If you need help finding your social media links, your public links, not your private links that you see on your homepage, we actually have a class for how to find those, and I just sent you guys the link to that. If you're watching this on a recording, just shoot us an email and we can send that to you as well. We have a lot of people that somehow it's not clear to them. They put in the full http:// www. All that fun stuff. They put in the full address here, and that is incorrect. It's not going to link properly on your homepage. It'll show an error page when someone clicks on that Facebook link. You only want the part after the slash. Once you've got those boxes filled in, and I'm not expecting you to follow along in real time here, you can go find those later using that class that I sent you there. Make sure to click your Save button, and that'll apply that to your site. Under that, we've got our search form. This is kind of a fun section here. If you're using the Madison or the Madison Metro theme, the only option you're going to have here is the Omnibox with Auto Suggest. This is very similar to the search box on like Realtor.com, KW.com, Zillow.com, all the big sites. It's you type in what you're looking for, 3 beds, 2 baths, 125K, something like that, such and such zip code, pool, fence, whatever. You type it all into one long string rather than having separate drop-down boxes. If you do want the drop-down boxes, you're going to have to select a theme besides the Madison or the Madison Metro. I'll show you that in just a minute. But if you're using the Madison or the Madison Metro, you just tell it next, and then you tell it save. On this page, if you're using one of those drop-down based search forms, there would be some additional options here, and you could select those and then save it. But if you're using the Omnibox, you would just click save here, and it's applied to your site. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to select one of the other drop-down based search boxes, and in order to do that I need to come into theme selection and select any of the other themes here besides the Madison or the Madison Metro. So I'm going to select the Toronto because it was the first one before Madison, so I'm going to save that. And now when I come back down to search form, I have additional options. Most of the other themes do still allow the Omnibox. It used to be specific to KW themes, the Madison and the Madison Metro, but you can use the Omnibox on other themes now. They updated that there. But if you wanted one of the more traditional drop-down based search boxes, you would just choose which one you want first. Do you want price first? Do you want city first, zip first, or neighborhood? Usually price is selected. That's why they have it the first one in the option, or first one in the list here. So you select that. Make sure to scroll down to the bottom and click Next. And then after that, you're choosing how many additional search boxes do you want to show on the listing search page. You can leave it as just the 4 search boxes that are on the home page, or you can add up to 4 more, or 7 more. It's up to however many that is. I'm going to go ahead and select Advanced here, so it'll show us the maximum number of drop-downs on the listing search page. So when I save this, come back to Scott's site and give it a refresh. Now I've got my new Toronto theme applied, got my drop-down based search bar right here. I'm going to select a minimum price of, $50,000, maximum price of, that's really high, $200,000, and I'm just going to search here. So this is my 4 that I selected the first time. When I click search, it's going to take me to search for properties here. And these are my additional boxes that I selected in that second step. So this is what you're choosing on that second step when you're working with the search form. So now, a funny little glitch about the search form. Say you chose a different theme and you chose one of these drop-down based search forms and you decided, I want to go back to the Madison theme in the Omnibox. If you go back to theme selection here and you just resave the Madison theme, it's going to do something funny to the search box on the home page. So I'm going to go back to the home page to show you that. It's going to try to keep one of the drop-down based search boxes there. These drop-downs do still work, and you can have this if you want to, but it is a glitch. It's not the way it's supposed to be because it looks really funny. These drop-downs are not supposed to be this wide. Search bar isn't supposed to be that wide. It will still work, but it looks really funny. So what you would need to do is come back to your Placester interface, go back into the search form, and resave the Omnibox. And then when you go back to your site, it'll have the Omnibox on the home page. Ta-da! Okay. Dropping down here to menu, I'm not sure what is going on with the Placester system that's causing this to be grayed out. The menu option is still editable. I'm not sure what Placester is doing to fix it or whatever. I noticed this several weeks ago, but you can still click on menu and it'll open up the menu editing interface. So go ahead and click on that. We'll work on this. By default, when your site is created, it's going to have these 5 options here: home, listing, search, about, blog, and contact. These are different pages that are on your site. And then you can add additional menu items across the top of your site using this drop down here at the bottom. So again, these home, about, blog, contact, listing, search, those are on there by default. One that's not there by default, but the page is already created on your site, is your favorite listings. And this is your as in the client rather than your as in the agent. So this is the visitor of your site. If they've saved any listings, favorited them, starred them, hearted them, whatever you call it, it's going to show, this page is going to show a list of all the listings that they've saved. So I usually recommend let's add this to your site. So we're going to select this one, your favorite listings, and then click add. So now I've got this new menu button for your favorite listings on my site. And all these menu buttons can be clicked and dragged to rearrange them. You'll notice as I move this around, we've got this new, what are they called? Dotted line around this space here. If I let this go, now your favorite listings is right next to home rather than at the very end of the menu where it was originally. You can also create submenus. So if I were to click and drag your favorite listings on top of listing search, you'll notice there's that dotted line around the existing listing search menu item. When I let go of the mouse button, your favorite listings is now indented just a little bit. It's a little bit to the right. That lets me know that this is in a submenu under listing search. Now you can only have one level deep of submenus, so I couldn't have an additional submenu under your favorite listings. I can only go one menu down. So these top level ones can have submenus under them, but if it's indented, it can't have submenus under that. So play around, click and drag, move things around, drag things on top of each other to create submenus. If you want to learn more about working with the menu, we do have a specific class for that. Just shoot us an email. Also, we're going to add another menu item that's not a page on your site. These right here are pages that already exist on your site. Down here, we're going to add a custom URL instead, and this is where we're going to add a link to your specific KW app. So we're going to click our Add button over on the right, and now we've got these 3 fields here: label, URL, and tooltip. We can ignore tooltip. I'll show you what it is, but if you don't know what a tooltip is or you don't want to work with it, you can ignore it. It's optional and leave it alone. The label is the text that's going to display in the menu. This is what people are actually going to see. So usually something like download my app, free home search app, search homes on the go free, something like that. You can label this whatever you want to, whatever you think is most appealing to people to click on it. And then under that URL, this is where we're going to paste in your app URL, your app link. This is going to include the whole HTTP : all that fun stuff. So to find your app link, it's really easy. We're going to go back to our MyKW homepage. So MyKW should still be open in this other tab with this button that's go to my website. We're going to click on our MyKW logo to go back to the homepage. And then on our homepage in the eEdge control panel, this top section here is My Marketing. We're going to click the plus sign right next to My Marketing and then click on Manage eAgency Website. Don't get hung up on that website word there. This site was retired 2.5 years ago. It's not functional anymore. Well, it's functional, but it doesn't actually really work anymore. So you can pretend the eAgency site, it doesn't exist. The only reason the interface is still around is because the KW app, which is what we're looking for, is administered through this interface. So you're going to click on that Manage eAgency Website. Now this is where I'm going to have to not show you the what it looks like, because Scott isn't an agent, so he doesn't get an e-agency interface, so he doesn't get an app, and I won't be able to show you what it looks like, but it's really easy to talk you through it. So once you click on that Manage e-agency website, over on the left, you're going to have sections 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.0. You're going to click on section 4.0. When that drops down, you're going to click on section 4.4, mobile property search. On that page, on the right side, you're going to have your KW app link and your code and your QR code and all that stuff. You're going to copy the full http://app.kw.com/kw number, whatever your app code is. Copy that whole thing. Once you've got that copied, you're going to come back over to your Placester interface, and you're going to paste that into the URL box here. Oops. App codes always start with KW, and then the rest of this is unique to each agent. Every agent has their own individual app code, and this is going to link to your specific app page for people to download your branded app. So you don't want to leave this as just app.kw.com like I'm going to do. You want to include your code at the end there. Once you've got that URL pasted in there, I'm going to go ahead and add a tooltip, just to show you what that looks like, because I know somebody's going to have a question. We'll click on Save down here at the bottom. So when I come back to Scott's site and refresh it, got my new menu item here for free home search app. And as I hover my mouse over it, you'll notice that little box that drops down underneath my hand. This is a tooltip. That's a tooltip. That's all it is. It's just, additional information about what people are hovering over. So you can have a tooltip or not. It's up to you. It's up to you what it says. If I click on this free home search app link here, it's going to take me to a new page for downloading the KW app. If you put your app link incorrectly, this should show your picture, your name, your service area right here in the center. If it's not showing that properly, if you get a 404 or something like that, shoot us an email at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We can help you with that. I'm going to just close this and go back to the site here. So back in the Placester interface, we just finished with the menu. You can have as many menu options as you want. On the eEdge site, you can only have one custom page, which adds a link to your menu. You can't edit the menu at all in the eEdge site. The Placester site, menu is fully customizable. You can drag things around, add as many menu items as you want, link them wherever you want them to go. Under that, we're going to go into site info. This is where we're going to spend a good bit of the rest of the class, which unfortunately is a little closer to over than I thought it was. We're going to start at the top here. Brand name is going to show really big at the top of your site, and depending on the theme that you've chosen, it's going to be a different font or a different placement or whatever, but it's going to show big at the top. So brand name, usually we recommend just putting in your name, but if you're a member of a team, especially if you're the lead agent on a team, put your team name in here for sure. I'm going to call this Scott Roy Team, something like that. Under that, we've got the tag. Oh, by the way, the brand's name, there has to be something in this box. The site title that's in there by default can remain in there, but you can't leave it blank. If you don't want to show the name and the tagline on the site, you don't want to have a site title, you would just leave this box unchecked, this display name and tagline. In most cases, I'm going to recommend leaving it checked, but if you don't want to show these two fields on your site, you don't have to. You would leave this box unchecked. For the tagline, this is where your slogan, catchphrase, motto, mantra, whatever you've got would go. So we usually put in something like your local real estate resource. You can put in your realtor designation. You can put in any additional designations if you want to in this box. It's up to you. You can also leave this one blank. The brand name has to have something in it, but the tagline doesn't. Under that, we've got our upload logo section here. By default, it's going to be the plain KW logo, which in most cases is going to work just fine. But if you want to upload your own personal logo or your market center's logo, you would use this button right here, upload file. There is this option to select a KW logo, but I'm not going to recommend using it because not all market centers have their KW logo in this section. Each market center has to contact Placester directly to have them add the logo in this section, and not all market centers have done that. So usually it's better to upload your own market center logo right here. And if you want to find out how to find your market center logo, guess what? We have a handy dandy class for you. So I just sent you the link there. It takes you through my KW for how to find your market center logo and download it. If you are uploading a logo, you would just click on Upload File, choose your image, and open it, and it would upload it to your site, and that would show near the top left in place of this KW logo. Now, one thing to point out is a lot of market centers have a compliance requirement that your market center logo has to show on your website. So unfortunately, there's not a way to show both if you have an individual logo and your Market Center logo, there's not a way to upload both of them separately. What you would need to do is combine them into one image where one is on top of the other. It kind of doesn't matter which one is on top of the other. It's just one has to be on top of the other and they have to be the same width. Then you would upload those as one image right here in Upload File. Now, I had a question a few months ago from a lady who thought that because the logo was right here and I still had this Upload File button, that meant I could upload a second logo, and that's not what that means. Clicking this button and uploading a file replaces this logo right here. Under that, we've got these checkboxes here for whether we want to display the name and tagline or not. I'm going to recommend checking it. And we've got this checkbox for whether we want to display a logo or not. And again, I recommend checking that. Under that, we've got this box here for a favicon. This is going to show, actually before I upload it, this is going to show in one specific place, and it's going to show very, very, very tiny. It's going to show 16 pixels by 16 pixels, really itty bitty. And that is up here in the browser tab. So you see up here next to where it says site title, and it's got this little folded down page. That's what's going to show if you don't upload a favicon, which isn't really hurting anything. But if you do upload a favicon, like the Placester stylized geometric P here, or the red box with the white KW here for my KW, that's where it'll show is up here in the browser tab. It's a great place to brand yourself. If your logo is simple, say it's like a home shape or a key shape or just a couple of characters, just your initials or something like that, your logo would be a great thing to use as the favicon because it's good for branding. This is not a place to upload your picture because nobody's going to be able to tell in 16 by 16 pixels that's a person, but I have no idea who that is. So you don't want to put your picture in this spot. Better to have nothing here. If you guys want to use this favicon right here, this red box with the white KW, we actually have that we can send to you. I actually don't know why I don't have that link here to send to you guys right now. Let me see if I can go find it. It may take me a minute. I'm having to reload my Google Drive here. Come on. There we go. I'm going to send that over to you guys in just a minute. Oh, there's my chat window. There we go. And I'm going to add that to my chats here to use in the future. There we go. Okay. Where was I? I got lost. Okay, favicon. So moving below that, the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. This is your name, so like Scott, Roy. Email, so Scott at scottleroymarketing.com. Oh, Roy does not have a big O. Your phone number. And then this is your picture here. You can upload your picture, basically any size that you want. Where is Scott's lovely picture? There he is, right there. If you ever see Scott in person, tell him he looks like Draco Malfoy. He loves that. Under that, we've got office details, so your Market Center name. Keller Williams Realty, in a lot of cases, works just fine, but in a lot of states, they require for your office's DBA name to be there, doing business as. So check with your Market Center what that name is supposed to be. Under that, your Market Center's contact information, so like klrw123@kw.com, that's the MCA, whatever. Market Center's phone number, something like that. Now, when we set sites up for you, we actually use your phone number and your email address in this section. Actually, I don't even know why there's a spot for email. It doesn't show it anywhere on the site. It doesn't allow you to contact the office via email. I don't know why that field is there. But when we set sites up for you, we use your email and your phone number for the office's contact information. We're not going to be changing that anytime soon, and you guys are welcome to do that if you want to. My personal feeling about it is I don't want my office to lose the lead and lose the profit share just because I'm on the other line or I'm on a listing presentation or I'm sleeping and I'm not available to answer the phone 24 hours a day. I want my office to get that lead, get the deal, get the profit share that I can share in if I've been adding people to the Market Center. So what was I saying there? So in my personal recommendation is to use your Market Center's contact information here. If they're seeing this Market Center contact information, they've scrolled past at the very least 3 opportunities to contact you before they see this contact information for the office. So if they're looking for this, this is what they're looking for. Office contact information, not your information again. But it's up to you. In what was I saying? You can show whatever contact information you want. Market Center address here. Oops. something like that. Now, it is legally required to have your market center's address on your website. You can't do blank stuff. You have to have your market center's address there. Under that, we've got our SEO section. SEO stands for search engine optimization. This is how you help your site do better on search engines. This is what search engines are going to display. Let me see here. Okay, so I don't have a thing for that. Excuse me. So for the meta title here, this shows in two places. One is up here in the browser tab. You see where it says site title right here? If you don't have anything in site title here, it's going to show this box instead as the title here in the browser tab. It also shows on search engines. Oops. As the blue text that actually shows the name of your site. So you're telling the search engine what to display right here. You've got a limit, a soft limit of roughly 55 characters in this box before it truncates it with a ... like, okay, we don't have any on the first page here. Like right here. This ... right here, it's not hurting anything. It's just no people are going to see it unless they hover over the browser tab up here and see it as the tooltip. So on search engines, it's going to truncate it after roughly 55 characters, give or take 1 or 2, depending on the search engine that's being used. Google, I think, is right at 55, Yahoo and Bing maybe 1 or 2 characters off either direction. So for the meta title, you want to go from most specific, most important first over to less specific, less important last. You want to start with the most important information, which is your name. And then the purpose of your site is really important and it's really specific. So search homes. Oh, actually, before we get to that, a lot of agents, and this is a good idea to do if you want to show your contact information right there on the search engine result page, a lot of agents put in their phone number right in this section. And then the purpose of your site, which is like search homes in such and such. Homes for sale. There's an L in Florida. And then got our dash here, and then maybe your office name. That's less specific, less important than who you are. Now, roughly about the time that Keller starts is about 55 characters, so it's going to truncate it sometime around here, which is fine because that's less important than who you are and your contact information. Now, this meta title here, you want to keep this basic structure as you're creating additional things on your site, like pages and blog posts and things like that. You can just copy and paste this and update it for that specific page, which I'll show you how to do in our Placester 201 class, which is next Wednesday at 1 o'clock or previously recorded at slmtraining.com. Learn more about that meta title there. We also have our SEO guide at there we go. I think I share that in Placester 201, but I wanted to send that to you. It's our SEO challenge, learning more about how to help your site rank better on search engines. Under that, we've got our meta description, and this only shows on the search engine results. It's not going to show anywhere on the browser itself. So let me go back here to this first page. So the meta title is the blue text right here, and the meta description is the gray text underneath it. So you're choosing what people are going to see when they you show up in search engine results. This is not, repeat, not a place to load up quote-unquote meta tags. Things like homes for sale in Orlando, property for sale in Orlando, real estate for sale in Orlando, blah, 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 blah. Same thing over and over, comma separated, basically changing one word every time. This is not what this space is for, because actual real live human people are going to be reading this text when you show up in search engine results. So you don't just want a list of 500 different things that you want to be found for in search engines. Instead, you want to use those same keywords in natural, regular, human readable language. So you want this to be a helpful description of what's going to be found on your site before someone clicks on your result in the search engine results there. So you can use those keywords, but in natural, human readable language. Like, Scott Leroy is your local resource to buy, sell, or invest in, homes and real estate in and around Orlando. Actually, you know what? In Winter Park. I don't remember the other name. So and all something like that. So Scott Leroy, keyword. Buy, keyword. Sell, keyword. Invest, keyword. Homes, keyword. Real estate, keyword. Winter Park, keyword. So-and-so, keyword. Orlando, keyword. Greater Orlando area, keyword. So there are keywords, there are meta tags in this description. They're just in natural human readable language because actual real life people are going to be reading this. Once you've got all this information put in here, you want to make sure to click save down here at the bottom or you will have lost all of that work. So make sure to click save. That'll apply it to your site. Once we do, let me refresh Scott's site and I'll show you where all that information went. There we go. So now we got all our information into that site info section here. Here is our brand name. Let me zoom in here just a little bit. Brand name up here, Scott Leroy Team, nice and big. Subtitle right here, your local real estate resource. Here's my name, here's my phone number. This email me link is not going to display your email address in plain text. It never will. There's no way to display your email address in plain text on the site unless you actually just type it out over here. And the reason that this does this is to protect you from spam. What happens when someone clicks on this email me link is it's going to open up their default email program on their computer. It's going to be different for each and every computer. Your computer may open up Outlook. Mine is going to open up Gmail. Somebody else's computer may open up Apple Mail. Some other people's computers may not do anything because there's not a default email program selected for their website. Not really that big of a deal because you have your contact page. This is going to get more information than just an email. You have your contact page on your site. So if the email me link doesn't work on your computer, that just means you don't have a default email program selected for your computer. And that's going to happen for a lot of people. Unfortunately, there's not anything to do about it. You can remove your email and instead put it over here in plain text so people can type it out, but you're going to get more spam that way. So it's up to you which of those you want to use. Where was I? Got our meta title up here, the Scott Leroy phone number, search homes for sale, Keller Williams Realty, all that. Oh, I forgot to upload a favicon. Hold on. Okay, now if I refresh, here's my favicon eventually, whenever it decides to load. Right here, here's my favicon. And then if I scroll to the very, 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 very bottom of the site, here's another opportunity to contact me. Let's start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 contact ways for people to reach out to you as the agent before they see any information for your office. So again, personally, I recommend putting in your office contact information in that section. But when we're setting you up as part of our process, we put in your contact information. Where was I? So that is it for the site info. Language here doesn't even bear covering because your only options are English, English Canadian, French Canadian. You can't choose Spanish, Arabic, Farsi, any other languages that are out there, and I don't know why they even have this option. I just ignore it. Under more here, we've got this auto publish here. This is a paid upgrade package from Placester where they will automatically publish new blog posts on your site for you. We don't have any information about that package. You need to contact Placester directly to learn more about it. Under that, we've got lead capture. This is definitely one of the most important things I'm going to show you in this class, which is how to get leads that come into your site, A, to notify you, and B, to get them automatically added into your eEdge database's contacts. The Placester site can do that. So we're going to open up our lead capture section here. In the top here, we've got two options for how the site captures leads. By default, what's selected is passively capture leads. That means people can view as many property details on your site as they want, and they never are forced to fill out a contact form. They never have to give you their information if they don't want to. They have to elect to contact you through a request to showing or a contact form or registering on the site or things like that. On aggressively capture leads, that means they can't view any property details at all without sending you their contact information. So they may just leave the site and you never knew they were there. Neither one of these is perfect. So this is my personal feeling. This is one that I would look into, and you don't have to do this, but I would look into the upgrade package that Placester has where you can customize these lead capture settings. You can set it to say, okay, after X number of properties viewed, then pop up the lead capture form and don't allow them to view any other property details before submitting their contact information. My personal feeling is I would definitely follow the Millionaire Real Estate red light, green light guide for maybe adding this expense, just from my personal feeling. It's up to you whether you want to add that or not. You would contact Placester directly about how to add that upgrade package. Under that, down here at the bottom, we've got this lead forwarding section. This is that important part that I was telling you about. In here, you definitely want to put in your regular communication email so that you can get notified right away when you get a lead on your site. And you can add additional emails after that. They have to be separated by a comma. It has to be a comma, can't be a colon, can't be a semicolon, can't be a line break, can't be a bar, can't be anything but a comma. And then you would put in whatever other email addresses, so and so at AOL.com, whatever. They just have to be separated by a comma. In here is where you're going to get leads from your Placester site into your eEdge database automatically. So what we need to do is go back to our MyKW homepage to the eEdge control panel. Inside the eEdge control panel, we're going to click on View Contacts. And once eEdge loads, over on the top right in your gray menu bar, you're going to click on Account, and then you'll click on My Account in the dropdown. And then on the My Account page, we want the eEdge email. We want the one that ends in @kwrealty.com, not .kwrealty.com. We want the one that ends in @kwrealty.com. We want the email address. So we're going to copy this. And if you have never heard of this email address before, that's fine. You can still pretend it doesn't exist. Just forget about it. Once we've copied that, we're going to paste it here into the lead capture section of Placester. So now when I save this, leads that come into my site, will be notified to my personal or my primary email, and they'll be added automatically as leads to my eEdge database. So that's a really, really important part of your site. There are two purposes to a real estate website: listing search and lead capture. We've got the listing search through IDX integration. Lead capture is here in this section so that you can get people's contact information to build your business. Last thing we're going to cover today, and I apologize that we're running so late, is custom domain right here. This is where you can see the address of your site. It's also where you can change the address of your site. Your site is going to end in .kw.com if you're in the States, or if you're in Canada, it's .kellerwilliamsrealty.ca. This part can't be changed. It's always going to end in .kw or .kellerwilliamsrealty, whatever. This part up here, though, before that first dot, you can change. You would do that by clicking Edit over on the right side. By default, this is going to be the same as your KW email. So if your name is johnsmith@kw.com, your site address would be johnsmith.kw.com. Remember, @ is only ever used in email addresses. You will never, ever, ever see an @ symbol in a website address. So if you're putting your website address on marketing materials or whatever, your website is not johnsmith@kw.com. That's an email address. Your website address would be johnsmith.kw.com. Now, you can change this to basically anything that you want to, as long as it's available. So we've got Scott Leroy Marketing right now. If I were to take out marketing and just do Scott Leroy and do check availability, looks like that is available. I could come down here and save this and apply that, but I'm going to leave it as Scott Leroy Marketing. Now, if it's something that's not available, like my Placester site, check availability, it's going to turn red and say, no, it's not available. Here's some suggestions for what it could be instead, or for what you can select instead. You can select any of those and then save it down at the bottom. Now, you can also apply a custom domain. So say you went to GoDaddy or Google Domains or KW Domains or whatever, and you bought, myname.com, and you want to use that as your website address instead of yourname.kw.com. You want to take out the KW part. That's pretty easy to do. You can use their step-by-step help articles right here, or we actually have a free service or a complimentary service where we can get that connected to your site for you, sending you the link right there. That's part of your Market Center subscription there. I'm not going to go too much into how to do that here in this class because we're running out of time. Now, the last really, really, really important thing I want to leave you guys with is this right here is the entirety of your site address. There is no www. So if you've got it in your mind that every website address has to start with www, that is not true, especially in the case of your website. And let me copy and paste this into my address bar here. Eventually, that loads the site just fine. Now, if I were to clear that out and do www.scottleroymarketing.kw.com, this is what I get. your connection is not private. Attackers might be trying to steal your information from scottleroymarketing.kw.com, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be a big, scary factor for people visiting your site. So do not ever put www. in front of your .kw.com address on any marketing materials, your email signature, whatever, because people won't be able to get to your site. They'll see this and they'll think you're a hacker. So your site address is just whatever it is, .kw.com. There is no www. I hope I'm clear enough on that because it's really important. We will never send you your site address with the www. When we send you your MyKW setup complete or your Placester setup complete, we leave that off because that is incorrect and it's going to cause this. Let's see. So that's basically it for our Placester 101 class. I'm going to send you guys a couple of additional things here in the chat window here. I'm resending you that link where we can set your site up for you. You don't necessarily have to do it yourself. Also sending you the link to our support page where you can find all of our complimentary services through your Market Center subscription. And then lastly, I'm going to open it up for questions. We are over time, so if you need to go, you've got stuff to do, you're welcome to. But if you want to stick around for answers to either your questions or other people's questions, send them over in the chat window there. I don't have audio turned on. I can't hear you guys. So if you have questions, send them over in the chat window. Don't be shy. Someone else might have the same question that you have, and I may not have covered something thoroughly enough. You're confused or something I didn't cover that you want to cover. Go ahead and send those over. I'm here to help those. I'll leave the recording on for a couple of minutes, and if I don't get any questions, I'll go ahead and turn it off.